Hello and welcome to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports. I am your co-host Sarah, here as always with Tate. We have a great show planned for you today. We will be covering updates with Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones, and the Dallas Cowboys. Talking about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever's rocky start to this season, and Bronny James declaring for the NBA. And moving away from sports, we will be talking about some quote-unquote ridiculous guests, or ridiculous rules that made guests walk out of a wedding. And then make sure you stick around for segment 5 because it is Thirsty Thursday and alcohol sometimes causes people to make questionable choices and decisions. As always, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe to the show. Also, we do get a number of questions and comments that come in during the show, and we would love to engage with those. In order to make sure that we see those questions and comments, please go to GSMCPodcast.net, leave a tip or a donation, and that will ensure that we see your question or comment. It will put it at the top of our screen so that we can see it. We can answer any questions that you have or engage with any comments. Again, that is GSMCPodcast.net. Good morning, Tate. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm gonna put in some sort of claim about these production meetings because they're kicking my rear.
See, I like these new production meetings. So fill people in. If you weren't watching yesterday, we started doing our production meetings a little differently. Instead, we decided to get some exercise in the morning. So we do a long walk. We do a 10K walk, which is about, 6.5 miles?
6.2, I believe.
6.2 miles. So we've been doing that every morning as we're talking about the show and getting things going. And yes, it does make you a little tired, a little sore.
I was doing okay, and then this morning everything's stiffened up. I'm feeling about, they say you're only as old as you feel, and today I feel about 85.
That is hilarious.
So yeah. But we could talk about that, or we could talk about sports. Should we talk about sports?
Man, let's do whatever you think's best.
I don't know. It is a sports and entertainment show, so
yes.
Let's talk about some sports. Give me
all right.
Just 1 second. We're going to talk about Dak Prescott, and I know that you are a Cowboys fan.
I'm a huge Cowboys fan.
Dallas is currently basking in a golden era of sports victories. The Texas Rangers have clinched the World Series, and both the Dallas Mavericks and Dallas Stars are making significant playoff runs. However, amidst this winning spree, the Dallas Cowboys, the most valuable sports franchise in the country, find themselves on the outside looking in. The Cowboys' last appearance on the field was a disappointing playoff loss to the Green Bay Packers, which many believed would lead to dramatic changes within the organization. Surprisingly, owner Jerry Jones did not fire head coach Mike McCarthy, nor has he secured long-term deals for star players CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. The return of Ezekiel Elliott, now a shadow of his former self, is their most notable roster move. The crux of the Cowboys' predicament lies in the contract situation of quarterback Dak Prescott. His $55.4 million cap hit this year. His $55.4 million cap hit this year is a significant burden. Unlike other top quarterbacks who signed long-term deals, Prescott and his agents strategically opted for a shorter 4-year contract at $40 million per year. This move has given Prescott substantial leverage, forcing the Cowboys into a tough position. Either extend his contract or face an even more prohibitive franchise tag number next year. The Prescott contract illustrates a critical point in NFL negotiations. It's about timing and the marketplace rather than player rankings. The Cowboys have only one more year of control over Prescott, and without an extension, they face severe cap implications. This situation underscores a potential shift in Jerry Jones' approach, who has traditionally been impulsive and quick to offer large contracts. As the summer progresses, the key question is whether Jones will stick with his usual methods or adopt a more cautious approach. The outcome of Prescott's contract negotiations could signal a new era for the Cowboys, potentially affecting the extensions of Lamb and Parsons. Regardless, Prescott is poised to continue winning in the business of football. So, Tate, as a Cowboys fan, What are your thoughts?
Okay, the first thing I want to correct, because it kind of sounds like they have the ability to franchise tag Dak. No, they do not. Dak cannot be traded, nor can he be franchise tagged. Dak, at the end of this season, is a flat out free agent.
Thank you for that clarification.
And that's what makes everything so dangerous and so expensive for the Cowboys. Dak's in a place where he controls all the cards, meaning if he rides this year out, he wins. If he signs early, he wins. Dak's in a win-win situation. The Cowboys, with a $40 million cap hit this year with Dak, and next year, even if Dak leaves, it's about a $35 million cap hit, puts the Cowboys in a major situation. What the Cowboys organization would have loved to have done is re-sign Dak in the offseason, took the cap hit and spread it out over the life of the contract. It would have been a great deal. Sign Micah, sign CeeDee Lamb, and keep they lost 8 players. They would have been able to keep most of those guys. But because of the fact that Dak was not willing to negotiate his contract, they lost Tyron Smith and 7 other star players. They haven't been able to sign Micah Parsons or CeeDee Lamb, which puts the Cowboys in a major situation where they have not been able to address some of their weaknesses and actually have gained more weaknesses. Bringing Ezekiel Elliott back, it's a nice story. It is a nice story. I like Zeke, but I wouldn't have brought him back. Zeke is past his prime. And it's a great story to have Zeke finish his career as a Cowboy, but as an impact player, I don't look at Zeke as an impact player. I would have liked to have seen them go with someone like draft a running back. The only young guy they have on their roster is Deuce Vaughn. So the Cowboys are like in a rough situation right now. Make sure you understand, I am a Cowboy fan, but I am not bullish on this year for the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, everyone's taking more of the wait and see. Let's see what happens this year before we start negotiating. Well, I got the Eagles better than them, and the Commanders and the Cowboys, in my opinion, are neck and neck. This is not the same Cowboys as last year, because I know a lot of people would think if I'm saying that the Commanders and the Cowboys are neck and neck, you're looking at last year's Commanders and saying they're not better. I mean, that they weren't good. The Commanders are a lot better. And the Cowboys, like I said, losing Tyron Smith and 7 other players, not addressing the running back position, not getting depth behind around the wide receiving core. Dallas is thin in a lot of places where they needed to add more depth back up. As the season goes on, injuries happen. Skills start to slide strictly because of the wear and tear of the season. And Dallas doesn't have a lot of players to fill those holes. That's the reason why I have the Commanders and the Cowboys neck and neck. Now, when I start thinking about Jerry Jones and what can be done, I think Jerry's making the right move. I know it sounds crazy to say this, but the money that Dak is asking for it's going to reset the quarterback market. That's going to be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, the highest paid player in NFL history. He's going to want that $60 million plus. And I don't know if I would pay Dak that kind of money. I've been on the record saying if Dak wanted $50 million, I would sign him right now. But looking at where Dak is at, looking at where the Cowboys are at, I would be more likely to do what Jerry is doing right now. Dak wants a huge contract. I'm not signing him. I'm running this year out. And then I'm looking at what is my future for the Cowboys. Trey Lance is the backup quarterback, which they brought in from San Francisco. San Francisco had a first round pick on him. He's in camp. He's doing better. He's had a year under his belt under the system. I'm going the Trey Lance way or another way, but I am not signing Dak to that massive contract unless, if he goes through and he has an incredible year, takes the Cowboys to another step, then you have no choice. But I don't see the Cowboys as a Super Bowl contender, which last year I thought they were a Super Bowl contender. I thought last year was the best year possible that the Dallas Cowboys could win a Super Bowl. Not this year. I feel like the Cowboys have definitely taken a step back. As I said, not as deep at wide receiver. Not very strong at the running game. Not very deep at all on the defensive line, offensive line. Dallas has holes, especially as the season goes on. So that's the reason why I'm definitely concerned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you are basically agreeing with what Jerry Jones is doing in this situation.
Unfortunately, because it's not a pretty thing what's going down, which is no one wants their franchise quarterback to be setting out there and with the ability to just leave you high and dry and you can't do a thing about it. That's where the Dallas Cowboys is at. If Dak leaves, they get nothing. They don't get any. They get absolutely nothing except for they don't even get cap relief really, because the contract, there's about 35 million that would be on the books for next year. So they get nothing but losing Dak Prescott, which sets them back even another year. That's the reason why it's concerning. But if you're looking at this and you're looking at, do you rinse and repeat what has been going on for the last 5 to 7 years? It's what you're getting is, it's one of those things where it's like, would you rather go to the playoffs every year or rebuild the team? And that's the question that you have. When you go to the playoffs every year, there's a level of expectation by the fans and the owner and the ownership group. When you're in the playoffs, you're a contender, but you're also year after year consistently, when you don't get there, it's considered a failure. So it's that rock and a hard place. But the Cowboys are in a bad place, I think. I'm not paying Dak 60 to 65 million to be my quarterback. I think Dak is an elite quarterback. I have him as a top 10 quarterback, but I have him on the backside of that top 10. He's number 10. He's number 11, 10, 9, 8. Right around there. And I wouldn't pay that for anyone, any quarterback. I kind of feel like I put him right with the Kirk Cousins level, and I wouldn't pay Kirk Cousins $65 million to be my quarterback either.
Well, fortunately for your pocketbook, you don't have to pay anyone $65 million.
Well, if I had that kind of coinage, that'd be nice.
No arguing with that. Yes. We are going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll be talking about this season with the Indiana Fever and what role Caitlin Clark might continue to play within that season. Stay tuned. You are tuned into the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports, and we will be right back.